Hello, everyone. Welcome back to another episode of Quincy Chronicles. I'm your host, Simon Oma, and I'm here with Tiftifbee.
Hi again.
We are back for more of the original episodes. We've actually gone through quite a few of them since last time, since I was taking a little bit of time off from working on videos and getting more episodes for us to talk about.
Yeah. Makes sense.
Since last time we'd only just started season 3 and gone through the big Uryu moment, now we're getting more closer to the end of season 3 where Rukia's execution is about to happen.
Dun dun dun.
So yeah, we've actually gone through quite a bit of episodes since last time. Let's see. We had a little prison break from Kenpachi and Ichiro and Orihime coming to get her friends out of prison with, Uryu getting a little bit of a rude awakening.
Yes. Very rude considering you've got this person draped in bandages leaning over your bed without even informing him who he is when he first sees him. I'd freak out too.
Yeah, and then Ganju having the nerve to use Uryu's given name, which Uryu is not very happy about. Like, you are not anywhere near close enough to me to be calling me Uryu.
I don't even know who you are.
Yeah. Or he may bust them out of prison so they can go and help Ichigo and save Rukia. And Ichiro giving them all weird little nicknames and calling Uryu Pencil.
Poor you.
Yep, poor Uryu.
Gets rudely awoken, gets his first name used without permission, then gets called a pencil. This has not been a good day for him so far.
No. Our poor boy. And, well, learning he's losing his powers on top of all that.
Yeah.
Our poor boy.
It's not been a good day for him.
Yeah. Unfortunately, that was about all we had of Uryu this time, because he hasn't really made much of an appearance throughout season 3, unfortunately. So, not really a lot of Uryu to talk about this time, but we do have other topics to talk about, which is a bit of a cringy one for me, but we'll get to that. There may be a bit of a rant in this episode.
Oh boy, I'm seated for it.
And Tifa knows what I'm referring to.
Oof. Be seated, listeners. It's gonna be a big one. It's a doozy.
This is gonna be a bit of a bumpy ride today. But yeah, let's see. What else can we talk about before we get to that?
Well, we basically had Ichigo trying to find his Bankai, or whichever one is Zangetsu, and running out of time.
Yes, indeed. We also had we had a lot with Renji. He also went and met up with Ichigo to practice his own Bankai. Well, Ichigo was training for his. Renji being able to master it a lot quicker and going off to challenge Byakuya.
I'll give him credit, he's suddenly stubborn.
Yep. So we had a nice, good Renji Byakuya fight, which I quite enjoy that fight. Like, Byakuya was pretty pissed that Renji was able to, actually get him down on his knee and wound him.
You can't get me down on my knees, Renji be like, and I took that personally.
Yep. And, in the end of the battle, once he defeats Renji, he, admits that Renji's fang was able to reach him.
I'll give Renji credit, he suddenly stood his ground against the captain.
Oh, yeah, for sure. He wants to challenge Byakuya to, help save Rukia and protect her, because he has a lot of history with her, which we went through in these episodes as well. All the Renji Rukia flashbacks and the Renji, Momo Izuru flashbacks.
Indeed.
And since those guys all busted out of prison, where we had left them before.
And Yachiru being oh so helpful with her directions.
Oh, yeah. She does not know where she's going. She should have just left that to, Uryu.
She's just here for the ride.
Yeah.
Korikaku feels her wrath. Maybe we should leave the direction of someone else except the lieutenant. She's not exactly known for her best directions. He says, maybe you should just shut up, cue bullhead. He just spits at him.
Yep.
I'm gonna kill that girl.
Don't piss off the little pink-haired girl who is a little female Kokichi in disguise.
Yep. I can definitely see Kokichi being like that.
Oh, totally.
This you should never ever meet under any circumstances. The world would not be able to take it.
Oh, no, indeed.
There's two of them.
Oh, no. But yeah, let's see, what else did we have? A lot of Ichigo fighting, mostly with Zangetsu.
Who doesn't look suspiciously like Yuhabaha at all.
Nor sound like him, nor act like him, no. There's nothing there.
We'll say, out of most of the paternal father figures, Zangetsu was definitely the figure that Ichigo needed. No disrespect to Ishin, he did his best to raise him after losing his wife. But there are times where Ichigo is like, how am I related to you?
I know, right? Yes, Zangetsu's a good daddy.
Yeah, probably only one redeeming factor about Yuhabaha being like him.
Yep.
And of course, poor Rukia is basically preparing to go to her death, and then what should she see when she's on her way to the execution ground? Gin.
Oh, I was going to talk about her encountering Ganju and Hanataro first, because we had all the, she recognized him as being a Shiva, and then we had all the Kaien flashbacks as well, which,
Yes,
you know,
that was...
that part's kind of rough. You know, poor Rukia blaming herself for his death, which is kind of why she seems to be more, like, accepting of her death. Like, she thinks she, like, deserves it.
Whenever she started to blame herself, I just wanted to reach through the screen, just grab her by the shoulders, like, sweetie, you did what you had to do. It was not your fault.
Yeah, you know, he was basically a hollow at that point. There wasn't really anything you could do, and you know, we had the line that Yukitake is always using about like the two kinds of battles, like the battle for one's life, another for one's pride kind of thing.
Let's face it, even looking at how Kaien was like, you could definitely tell that he's very like Ichigo.
Oh,
not
yeah.
just in like design.
Totally. Like, there's definitely a resemblance there, and you know, they're not related. There's nothing like that.
Yes. No relation at all.
But yeah, more seriously, I think they're like cousins, since apparently Ishin is their uncle.
Yeah, I think so.
So Kaien and Ichigo would have been cousins.
To be honest, looking at Kakaku, she definitely looks like Ichigo if he was a girl. Especially when she's like, what are you, friggin' deaf or friggin' stupid?
Yes, Kukaku does have that nice temper, you know.
No tolerance for BS.
No.
I like that.
And then there's Ganji, who's, you know, more like comedic than the other two.
But to be honest, you have to wonder if he uses the comedy to basically try to cope with losing his brother.
That is definitely possible, for sure.
People handle trauma in very different ways.
Yeah. He is a fun character, though, voiced by Kyle Hebert, who, you know, is also Aizen. Very different tones between Ganju and Aizen, though.
Yeah.
Yeah, so, you know, then after we did have Rukia being met by Gin. You wanted to talk about that?
Yeah. We can also see how she personally felt about Gin first time she met him. She felt unnerved by him. That he was like a snake.
Yes. That it was like he was like slithering with his like eyes at her. Even though he was talking to Byakuya at the time.
Not gonna lie, I feel unnerved by him too.
And then, you know, being a little troll like the Bleach version of Kokichi that he is, he made Rukia feel like she wanted to actually like live again and not be so resigned to her death by, like, saying he could, rescue her right then and there. And then, I'm just joking, it's a lie.
It's a lie!
In true Kokichi fashion. Though Doug Airholtz voices him.
Yeah. He does a pretty good job.
He does, yeah. He also eventually voices Kisuke much later in the series, though not at this point.
Yeah.
And we also saw a little bit of the execution when we got, like, towards the end of where we were watching. We saw, like, Yamamoto and Soifo, and not, like, I think Unohana was also there, but not like a lot of the other captains, because, they were busy elsewhere. But Byakuya did appear to, be there to witness his sister's death, which seemed to kind of surprise Rukia a bit that he was there. And so, like,
Of course, Ukitake wasn't there because, hello, that's his member of his squad.
No, he wasn't there, and a lot of the other captains were fighting, Kenpachi and the other two that I guess we can go into.
It was Kaname and Sajin.
As well as their lieutenants, Shuhei being Kaname's lieutenant, and what's the name of Sajin's?
The guy with the glasses, I think.
Yes.
Sunglasses.
The guy with the sunglasses.
I was persuaded nobody better remembers him anyway.
Yep. It starts with a T. That's all I can remember.
Yeah. I found the name. Tetsuzaimon Iba.
Tetsuzaimon, yes. That is it. Yeah, so those two took on Kenpachi's, entourage of Ikaku and Yumichika after they, like, begged Kenpachi to join in the fighting, and he actually finally allows it. He was going to take on all four of them by himself, but he let his subordinates have some fun, too. Get in on the action.
Indeed.
Well, Kenpachi himself starts to take on Kaname and Sajin, and, Kaname. This is going to be a discussion.
Oh, take a seat, people. This is going to be a doozy.
Yeah, I might rant about this. Yeah, blind character. Blind character that we have in Bleach. I am also visually impaired, and, I can be kind of, I guess, picky about blind characters, or, how they're depicted in media and stuff. Kaname's not a very good one. I mean, he starts out fine, I guess. Like, being able to see, like, through spiritual pressure, Reishi is, like, okay, it's interesting, it kind of works. It's a decent concept. But, there's stuff they do with his character, especially in the Arankar arc. I'm not very thrilled about it. Yeah, let's see. They had Kaname fighting with Kenpachi. He was using his Bankai, which, again, like, his Bankai's fine. It, like, takes away, like, sight, sound, what have you, of, like, the person he's fighting. Basically puts them in a dark void, which, very much is how a blind person sees.
Yeah.
Or at least how, like, I see at night when I can't see anything except, like, a dark void, which, that part's fine and believable. Kenpachi in the battle, well, the Dark Void Bankai was active. Kenpachi was able to, like, suss out Kaname's movements a bit, and that, like, even though he couldn't have, like, any awareness of him, Kenpachi was able to figure out, he's gonna attack me, so I'll just, be able to grab his sword when he does. And then I can, like, get my senses back, which he was able to do, but if he was fighting an actual blind person, that wouldn't be as plausible.
That's, oof. See why you're mad.
Because, like, Kaname, like...
That is clumsy.
Yeah.
Clumsy.
Because, Kaname, yeah, sure, he's blind, but he should have been able to... he can apparently see spiritual pressure and be able to sense it, or, see people by sensing it. So, he should have sensed that coming, despite his Bankai being active. And if not sensing it, he should have been able to hear Kenpachi's movements to know Kenpachi was going to do that. And not have let him grab his sword. Like, he should have been able to anticipate it at least. Because, even if you're blind, you can still know what's going on around you far
Because
better than someone who's
hello,
not blind.
yeah. Because hello, you have ears. You can use them to hear.
Yes, and you can like feel what's going on around you, there would have been like the movement of like Kenpachi's like did he have his bells on at the time? Like his eye patch?
I think he had the eye patch on.
Okay, so there would have been the bells from his eye patch. There would have been like the movement of his clothing and like his like
Hearing his voice as
yes,
well.
hearing his voice, of course. And just like you can hear the movement, you can feel it because there's like, like you can kind of feel wind as someone is like coming up against you and like, like gonna grab your sword. Like, okay, maybe he could have been like in the motions of the attack and maybe not have been able to pull back in time, but still, he should have been able to anticipate that. And it's just clumsy. It just doesn't make any sense for a blind person to not have been able to at least, counter what Kenpachi did in some way. So Kenpachi is able to grab the sword and get his senses back and cut down Kaname to, like, get him down and defeat him. And then, Sajin steps in and steps up to continue the fight against Kenpachi. But Kaname is able to, know that it's Sajin and, like, try to, like, tell him that, he's fine, don't worry about him, like, kind of, like, stay out of it, leave me be, like, don't worry about me and stuff, and stay away from Kenpachi or whatever. Like, he acknowledges that is Sajin. But, like, later on in the series, we see that Sajin, well, he is, like, disguising himself as, like, the bucket and stuff and not wanting his identity to be known, he suppresses his spiritual pressure, and Kaname is not able to see him and recognize who he is. Sajin did not speak when he stepped up, so sure, he was the only person there, but Kaname shouldn't have known it was him and be able to acknowledge that.
Wow. Wow. I hadn't even noticed that.
I know, I pick up on these things. So yeah, it's just, like, if you're gonna, like, I know, like, yeah, Kubo does, like, sing things out a lot for a lot of the characters, but if you're gonna make a blind character, can you please just write them properly? Like, and that's not even to begin to mention the whole Arrancar arc, like...
Oh, no.
Like...
Go for it.
We know that Kaname has developed a technique that he should have been able to use as that Kenpachi fight, where, like, he, like... I can't remember exactly what it is, because it's been a while since we watched it, but he has a technique that he can, kind of, I guess, anticipate what his opponent is doing, so he can counter them, or, like, stop, like, or, like, avoid, like, a fatal blow, or whatever, like, those kind of things, that he has taught to Shuhei, his lieutenant. So he hadn't been able to use that against Kenpachi and stop the whole, his sword and grab thing. So, again, clumsy writing. But, like, we learn, like the spoilers for the Encore arc, which we'll probably discuss when we get there again. But, yeah, so, again, also spoilers for our next episode, Kaname is part of Aizen's army. Him having recruited Kaname all along because his Zanpakuto ability does not work on a blind person, which, yeah, okay, that makes total sense and is actually a pretty good plot point character development thing. Like, sure, if you can't control the blind guy, just, get him on your side. Why not?
Yeah.
And having blindness being a counter to Aizen is actually pretty, can't think of a good word. It's a pretty good little detail that blindness could, save someone from Aizen's powers. Since Aizen's powers revolve around sight. So yeah, Kaname is on Aizen's side, and when Aizen, starts making Arankars, he, I guess, like, promised Kaname to like make him one and give him the ability to see again, which like yeah, okay, like
Ooh, the fix it. The quick fix it. Oof.
yeah, like okay, wanting to be able to see like uh in like his whole justice persona thing, like wanting justice and stuff for like the person he was in love with who like told him about things he couldn't see, like stars and clouds and stuff and whatnot, which like in his flashbacks I do like the touch where they are like dark and blurry intentionally, like you don't see anything when he has flashbacks because like he had no like sense of sight to see in the flashbacks. There's nothing to see, so like seeing inside his head where there's like it's all dark and you don't actually see the person he's talking to, that is a good touch. I like that, since
Yeah.
you know like uh I'm not entirely like sure there's stuff about blind people maybe being able to like see a bit in like dreams or stuff, but like a flashback, like you wouldn't like know there is nothing to see because you like don't see it. So that part's fine. That makes sense. I actually have no problem about that. But like him like basically being with Aizen so he can get his sight and like cure himself. Like blind people don't necessarily want that. Like okay, maybe some do, but like you know, like you're used to living that way. It's just like it's kind of part of you. Like you adapt to it. That's just like it becomes like a norm for you if you don't have like full sight or whatever. And you know, you manage how you can. Like you have like your hearing and stuff better. You just like you know you rely more on that. Like I just don't like how they had him like wanting to get his like wanting to get the sight is fine, but then he actually does get his sight, which is just that form is creepy.
Mm-hmm.
He gets his sight by becoming a monstery Avrankar, and then like he's able to see, and then he just like completely throws aside all his like intuition, like stuff he's like learned as a blind man, like being able to like anticipate what's around him, like you know sense of hearing, sense of feeling, like it just like throws all of that aside and isn't able to like rely on any of that anymore just because oh he can magically see now and is automatically relying on his eyes, which again that makes no sense. And Shuhei is able to kill him using the blind technique that Kaname taught him, that he's not able to resist or counter anymore because he's just forgetting about all his other senses now that he has sight, and it's able to take him out. I just hate it. I totally hate it.
That is stupid, I agree. That is stupid. If
No.
you get sight, don't be cocky about it.
Yeah, like, okay, sure he can see, but he shouldn't have forgotten, like, all the stuff he learned and have, like, someone who can see is able to counter him with his blind technique. Like, come on.
Mm-hmm.
And that's how they kill him? Like, it's just such a slap in the face to a blind character. Like, come on. Like, why? I just don't get it. And I don't like it at all. So, you know, blind rant for the day. I'm sorry that took up, like, probably like half this episode.
No, it's fine.
Oh boy.
I 100% agree with you.
Thank you.
Let's face it, I am able to see.
Yep.
But even I know that if you're just suddenly miraculously gain the sight to see, you don't get cocky with it.
No, and you don't
And
just
also-
forget everything else or not, like, stop relying on your other senses. Like, come on.
You have ears, you have touch, you have smell, taste,
Yeah, totally.
and also you have common sense. You can still have your common sense regardless if you lose a sight or regain your sight. But I agree with you. Kaname, his writing is all over the place.
It's just sloppy, is what it is. Like, I mean, we don't even have the 1,000-Year Blood War excuse that it was rushed writing.
I
Like
agree.
why? I mean, this is like, um, well, the stuff we just saw was like the Bankai. It was like, start of the series, and the Arankar stuff. Yeah, it's like middle of the way, but still, there's no excuse for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Kubo stuff, like, really, really good. Like, especially in a lot of other areas, like Uryu and giving his Volstantish finally. But like, why is Kaname just written so poorly? I don't get it.
No excuse.
I
No
mean,
excuse.
sure, if you're not blind, that can be kind of hard to like, you know, write that properly and be able to like make it believable. But there's plenty of good blind characters. Let's just look at Toph from Avatar. She's written
Oh,
amazingly.
I'm half convinced, but the writers created Toph to be like, because they watched how Kaname was writing, like, yeah, that's not what we're gonna do.
Yeah.
This is how you write a blind character. She's confident, and she does not let her blindness weaken her. In fact, it's a source of strength for her. She can be tongue in cheek about her humor, especially when she goes, "Look over there," because waves her hand in front of her eyes.
That too, but she
She's
also has like more depth of a blind character and like things like people actually think about, like when yeah, we're going on a not Bleach tangent here, but it's fine. Like
yeah,
when she's putting up the poster, she's like, "Oh, it's like upside down, isn't it?" Like that's something a blind person can't exactly put something up like right side up or make it look pretty or whatever. And she's like, "Yeah," she's like, "Oh, it's upside down." It's like, yeah, like it is. Like, you can't like make something like look the way it's supposed to. Also in
yeah.
like the same episode when like they're doing like the spa day, she's like, "Oh, yeah, like I don't like care about how I look. I don't see that. So like it doesn't really bother me, but like you can see deep down it is bothering her, and she likes looking
Mm,
pretty when Katara makes her over. Like those are things blind people like really go through."
absolutely.
And like, yeah, that's stuff we think about. Like I
Because she's
have
written as
gone there.
realistic.
Yes. Like, like I've gone there, I've thought about those things, but
Yeah,
like, yeah, she's very
yeah.
realistic. Kaname is just like, he's very
What?
like, not. It's very
It's
one
almost like one of those.
dimensional with him.
Yeah. To be honest, you could argue that Kaname and Tough are like that Animaniacs sketch. Good idea. Bad idea.
Oh, totally. Like, I can see a little bit of similarities with their abilities. Like, Kaname, he like can see through spiritual pressure and like sense things and like be able to like face a person or whatever, like by like knowing they're there from their pressure, their reishi, and know who it is that way. Which that is actually well done. I like that. But and it's kind of similar to Toph's like seeing through her earthbending and like the vibrations of that, and like kind of a bit more like echolocation and stuff. But Toph is just 10 times better. Like way better. Like they take the ideas and just like make them good.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, like Kaname is a very sore subject. I liked his character at first when they started introducing him, because oh, blind character, like he's got a typical like the typical like covering over his eyes, because like light sensitivity is a thing that they show a lot with blind characters, like either like dark glasses over your eyes or like a bandana or something. Um, so he has that, and he can like anticipate things through spiritual pressure. Okay, like sure, Bleach has a blind character. He seems okay at first, and then they just make me mad with how they ruin it, and he's written so poorly.
Oof,
So yeah,
oof.
there's our rant for the day.
Feel better?
A little bit, but oh boy. So yeah, now that's out of my system. Is there anything else we need to talk about for these episodes
Uh,
before we get to our next episode and hopefully the season 3 finale with the whole Rukia rescue?
Momo needs a hug. That's all I'll say.
Very true. Very true. We did see the whole her trying to kill Toshiro and the Gin Toshiro fight over that, so that was a thing that we didn't really talk
We'll
about.
go through it.
Oh, totally. Because, yeah, you know, she has the letter from Aizen that she can recognize it's his writing and makes her go kind of crazy. Which some of that in there was true. Having a thing transformed from Rukia's death that Aizen wants, okay, that part's kind of true. It's just not the giant ass sword they're gonna execute her with that he wants.
No. No.
But yeah, you know, Rukia's execution is totally a lead up to something bigger. Aizen's real goals. He's also still, you know, supposedly dead.
Indeed.
But, you know, we know he's not dead.
No. It's a lie.
Indeed. That Gin is helping him with. And taking all the blame for right now and making everyone think he's the bad guy behind it all. Again, true Kokichi fashion. You know, making everyone believe he's the mastermind when he's really not.
He does it so well, though.
Yes. No kidding. So yeah, anything else we should talk about? Or final thoughts?
I can't think of anything.
No?
I can't think of anything.
No, I think I'm good too. I need to cool down after that rant.
Do not blame you. Do not blame you at all.
I'm sorry, guys, but I've been wanting to get that out for a bit, and that is definitely a topic for discussion on a channel run by a blind person. Well, visually impaired. I do have some sight, though, you know, not at night. At night, I am completely blind, and that is a challenge. But, you know,
Yeah.
I work through it. I'm still here making videos and playing video games and stuff, though. Yeah. You know, like Brave Souls. Hopefully we get another Uryu soon. That would make me happy.
Yeah.
Probably won't happen, but you never know. I just don't want to see Economy in the game for a while.
You're like that guy that's in that film going, F you, F you, F you, you're cool, and F you, I'm out.
Yeah, you know how we talk about how we talk a lot of in these videos about Mayuri being your kryptonite?
Yeah,
and him
Konami is your kryptonite.
Yes. Instead of Mayuri cringing every time you see him, for me it's Kaname. I do hate Mayuri too, but Kaname, just that makes me cringe every time. So yeah, Kaname is like my Mayuri for you.
Yeah. I feel more sorry for you because it can't have been easy seeing Kaname being featured in Thousand Year Blood War very briefly.
No, it is not. Actually, I'm not even sure I saw that. When was he in Thousand Year Blood War?
I think he was in the flashbacks of Ryuken, Masaki, and Ishin.
Oh, yes, you're right. He was there. That's right. I do remember him being there. And yes, I'm like, oh, why? Why do we have to see you again? You're supposed to be dead. Yeah, it's past flashbacks, but still.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, we should definitely talk about the other two arcs at some point.
Yeah, we should totally do season 1 and 2 sometime. You're right, we didn't do those yet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got a few things to think about Ryuken because he was one of the characters I didn't really like at the beginning.
Oh, totally.
Mostly because of how he treated Uryu. But once I actually got to know him, I was like, oh, that's why he's where he is. I don't give him a pass for how he treats Uryu. But then once you find out why he's so cold and somewhat, well, how do we say it, discouraging of Uryu being a Quincy, you kind of see why he does that.
Oh yeah, totally. The past arc does, do a lot of wonders for Ryuk, and it makes him more likable and believable. But yeah, he is a great character, much better than Kaname.
I'm not gonna lie, you definitely see where Uryu gets his looks from his parents, especially like his father, but he's got his mother's eyes.
That is true. So yeah, we should definitely do some watching of the other Thousand Year Blood War episodes and do some Quincy Chronicle episodes of those at some point. Be somewhere in the near future. Don't know if it'll be the next episode of this, but we should definitely get there. Those would be fun to discuss. That's true. And more Uryu to talk about.
Definitely.
lots more Uru and Ryukin to talk about. So, yeah, we should do more Faz in Your Blood War Quincy Chronicle episodes for the other
Mm,
seasons we didn't discuss together.
yeah, definitely.
On that note, I think that's all we should say for this one. We are running a little long with my rant. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this discussion despite my rant, and uh, we will have more episodes of this. Hopefully more Faz in Your Blood War discussion soon, like we talked about. So until then, we will see you next time. Thanks for watching, everyone. Bye.
Bye.